Hey everybody, welcome back to Ink Play Quest. My name is Nathan, and today we are drafting more Lorcana. This time it is Cube. Here's our pack 1, pick 1. Some interesting cards. I feel like I say that a lot, but in Lorcana, every card is interesting. They're all our special friends. The ones that stand out to me are Madam Mim Elephant, a very strong evolution of the Mim cards introduced in set 2. This one introduced in Shimmering Skies. 4 cost 3/7 inkable. You have to return a card to hand, and then you can move damage counters at the start of your turn. I think this is probably the pick. Queen of Hearts for a draw engine, and more for flexible Floodborn synergies are also fun. Shere Khan for sort of a challenge-focused deck would be kind of fun too. But I think pack 1, pick 1, you got to pick the best card in the pack, so I think that is going to be Madam Mim Elephant here. Alright, well, you know how I feel about medallion weights if you've watched any of my videos. I think this card is pretty crazy. 2 cost inkable, flexible, draw engine. You only need to challenge, you don't need to banish. So we're going to take medallion weights and not feel too bad about that. Okay, a little bit less straightforward of a pack. We have this 3/3 Hercules Bodyguard is okay. I like having some 3/3s. It's a pretty good stat line in the cube. 2/3 also fine. 3/2. These like 2 cost, but it's too early to take a card without an ability. Pride Lands is pretty fun. This Ed, let's see. Damaged characters can't challenge Ed. 3 Quester. Kind of interesting synergy with our Mim Elephant, where we can put damage on their big thing and they can't challenge our Ed. Maybe we take Ed. Yeah, let's do it. Let's take Ed, Hysterical Partygoer. When in doubt, take the new stuff and try it out. I feel like we've seen Ursula, Deceiver of All every draft we've done. That being said, she may still be the pick. I really want to get Friends or Stormrage on with this card. I mean, I was so high on this card when she was released and revealed. Obviously, she hasn't quite stood up against recent decks. Emerald, I think, just doesn't have as much of a place in the meta post-Bucky ban. But love to see this card anyway, so let's take Ursula, Deceiver of All. Can still go a lot of directions here. All right, so we have Piglet at 2, Chernobog's Followers at 1. That interests me. Kit also, but I think it's significantly worse than either Chernobog's Followers or Piglet. Let's see. Followers, Medallion Weights gives us some good card draw. Piglet. There are more cards like Piglet that are big questing threats than there are like Chernobog's Followers, so let's take Chernobog's. I like Mulan. If we can get the Shift Mulan, that Shift Mulan is so powerful if you can have her effect go off once. Otherwise, we have this Beast Forbidden Recluse to damage a character and prevent characters from challenging our Ed. It's kind of interesting. The others I'm not too interested in. Befuddled, not really what I'm looking for here. Maybe we take sort of a damage manipulation type deck with Beast Forbidden Recluse. We have Mim, and yeah, let's lean into the damage theme if we see enough stuff to support that. So, and then this Prince Philip, we won't see this again, but you know, it could be an interesting top end card in this archetype. But let's take the Beast Forbidden Recluse. All right, well, if we're thinking about spread damage, this Plasma Blaster is a nice effect, but it's just so overcosted. 3 cost uninkable to get it down, 2 cost, and you have to exert it to deal damage. I think this is just like wildly overcosted for what it does. Avalanche. Let's see. We have a lot of 4s, but deal 1 damage to each opposing character. Then none of them can challenge Ed. Maybe we take Avalanche. Can banish a location. If we're leaning into this theme, we want some way to get damage spread around. Let's take Avalanche. Normally I would like go fill here and try to build a hero deck, but I think this is an interesting lane we could try to build a deck in. Alright, so nothing for our archetype here. You Have Forgotten Me is a very powerful card, and Beast. Okay, so Beast comes in damaged, and if we get any of the damage move items or characters, that is kind of nice. Or Rapunzel or Julieta, as I say every time with these wounded, or these, I guess they're wounded. These enters damaged characters. We have a lot of 4s. You Have Forgotten Me is good, but let's take Beast Wounded here. It's also just a big boy. Oh, look, Morph came back. Okay, well. Invite you to the ball or Morph. Let's take Morph. The others, not super interested in. Invited to the ball would be fun, but we have a insane non-character card here that we want to make sure is in our deck. Do we take the Goof? Lilo, we don't have we didn't take any of the bodyguard cards. And it's not really an aggro deck. Do we spec on Goof? Let's do it. All right, here we'll take Merlin to go with Mim. Bounce Merlin, manipulate the top or bottom of your deck. We did the Bruno thing last time. Let's take Kronk as just a fine challenger. Has a lot of willpower, so it can hold damage on him okay, if the damage movement theme is what we're going for. And let's just put Goof in the deck, actually. We're not going to play this, probably. Oh, man. All right, so... Okay, Mim Snake, I think, is probably the pick here. This Prince Eric, I think, is so good, but we have a lot of 4s already. Maybe he'll come back. Probably not. But I just think this is a really flexible, forced removal card in Limited. But Mim Snake is Mim Snake. Take the good stuff. Basically, every Madam Mim card is just insane. And I will take it when I can. Other cards that are interesting. This Hans kind of distributes damage. Maybe if he's back and none of the other good stuff is back, I'll take the Hans. Merfolk is Merfolk. But I'll take the snake. Alright, Food Fight feels like it would be a deal damage wide kind of card, but I think it's just so much less powerful than something like Camilo or the Queen or Minnie Mouse. What do we got going on that Camilo can get us? So we can bounce back Ed or Goofy. When this character quests, you may gain lore equal to the pips of another chosen character. Okay, so we could like turn 9, play Goofy, quest with Camilo, gain 4. That's not that good, but we can gain 3 with Ed. 3, 7. He's probably totally fine. Haven't played with him yet. Other cards I would take, like I said, Minnie Mouse and the Queen, Commanding Presence. Pretty strong. Let's take Camilo. This is like turning into a bounce deck. Okay, Be King Undisputed. Brawl, Pete. All stand out. Chifu. Don't think we need Chifu. Is a Brawl good? We have enough 2s. So probably it's going to be Brawl or Pete. Let's take the Pete. Do we do the responsible thing or the fun thing? I think the answer is going to be the fun thing. Maui's Fishhook is probably the right pick here. Give our stuff either evasive or +3 strength this turn. None of the other cards, though, are overly powerful. But let's talk through the Mim Dragon pick. So this obviously has a huge downside. So like some of the other cards that have, or unlike some of the other cards that have bounce one character as a quote-unquote downside, this I think is an actual downside. You really have to take a big tempo hit to return 2 characters back to your hand, but this is a 5/7 quest for 4 evasive. Now, if we find a character that has some utility when it enters, this could be kind of crazy. Let's just take the Mim Dragon. This is going to be the bounce deck, or the Oops All Mims deck. I think we can make something with that. Let's take Mim Dragon. Let's move Goofy, actually, out of the board for now. I think he might be too ambitious. Okay, Oops All Mims. Is this Mim good? Let's see. Comes in, 2/5, quest for 2. You can basically cheat in a character that costs 4 or less for free, gains rush, and at the end of the turn, banish them. So this is like the Gruesome and Grim action, but it's on a body. I don't think we want to shift her in onto our snake, but if we're doing this like weird Mim deck thing, that's kind of fun. I think the responsible pick is probably just Magic Broom, but we don't have any 5s. 2/5. What is this? What can this bring in? It can bring in Beast, Forbidding Recluse. Comes in, pings a character, challenges in, and then he gets banished. If you can bring in like Merlin Goat or Merlin Rabbit with this, is probably fine. Okay, let's do the thing. We have 4 Mims when we take this card. Okay, Bonsai, Eudora, Felicia, Fortisphere. Do we have any Fortisphere synergies? Not really. The 2-cost Bonsai is pretty good. 3/2 quests for 2. Uninkable, but we only have 2 uninkables at the moment. I think this is just a really powerful overstatted card. Don't think we're really going to miss out on Felicia or Eudora. I'm sure we'll find some other 1s or 5s that we need, but we need a lot of 2-drops. Let's take the Bonsai. Okay, well. Blue or Elsa Stormchaser, I think. I've been talking about Elsa Stormchaser in some of these drafts, how it's just a pretty cool effect that you don't see that often. Blue, we don't really have very much aggression and the low costs of our deck. Blue's nice, but this is really like you're affecting the board in that you're putting a character on the board, but it can't really interact with your opponent's characters at all. It just prevents them from interacting with your characters that you want to protect. So I don't think that's our game plan. I think we have this weird bounce game plan. So let's take Elsa Stormchaser as a more proactive card. Hercules or Argus or Retrosphere. Retrosphere is basically 3 to banish or to return a character item or location to their player's hand. You can split that over 2 turns, but I think the Hercules is probably better here. Argus, we have enough 2s. Let's take the rush threat. Wish he were Maui, but we always wish he were Maui. Okay, well, let's take Cursed Merfolk now that we're back here. I guess Queen of Hearts is an anthem effect. We do have a lot of villains, sort of incidentally. We have, let's see, Mim. Okay, maybe not as many. Just all the Mims. Yeah, let's take Merfolk. Now here, we could either take the Food Fight to do our spread damage effect, or we can just take Last Ditch Effort as a nice quasi-removal card. You exert the character, you give one of yours Challenger +2, and then the trick is you take out the character that you exerted in some favorable way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's take that. I'll put it in the... I guess I'll put it in our main deck for now. I'll put it over here. Chifu, sure. Sing a little, or dig a little deeper. When can we get this out? Can't get it out until turn 6. We don't have any singers that sing it early. I guess we can go 2, 3, 4, and then sing it. We could double sing it with Ursula. Look at the top 7, 2 in your hands. This is... Okay, you could double sing this with Ursula and it could get kind of crazy. Alright. Let's take Dig a little deeper and put it in the sideboard for now. Chicha. We don't have any ways to ramp extra, do we? No. Let's put her in the sideboard as well. Okay, interesting first 2 packs. Now on to pack 3. Okay, so what goes with our theme in this pack. We like cards that we can bounce and get value from either playing or replaying. So of these, it looks basically just like Bruno Madrigal, which is okay, but it's not the most powerful card. We have the Queen for some nice card draw, which is kind of nice. We have Flynn Rider for a great 2-quester early. We have this Pluto, which is very strong. We have some nice top end already. And we need kind of a wide board if we're going to do this Madam Mim dragon thing. I'm leaning towards either the Queen, Wicked and Vain, or Flynn Rider, Charming Rogue. And I'm going to go with... I'll go with the Queen. This card I think was really good in the first, or was relatively good in the first set because there weren't that many ways to draw cards. I think she's not quite as good, but she's a unique effect, and yeah, let's take her and see how it looks. Okay, all right. So we have a Lantern to get stuff out early. We have Hey Hey, which can just sort of always challenge in and goes back to hand. This is kind of interesting. This works pretty well. I kind of like Hey Hey comboing with this Elsa. On turn 4, you play the Hey Hey, activate Elsa's ability. Hey Hey challenges in for 4 because it has a rush. And then Hey Hey can go back to your hand and you can just do it again. I kind of like that. This is the thing about Cube, is just there are so many of these like micro synergies, 2 to 3 card combos you wouldn't see outside of exactly Cube, because normal limited, you're limited to the cards of one set. Constructed, you're limited to 2 colors of ink at a time, but in Cube, you can kind of have these crazy decks that have weird synergies. Let's take the Hey Hey. This is turning into a very amethyst-heavy deck, but I guess while there's no color restrictions, colors kind of have their identities, and you end up doing... If you end up doing a very specific strategy, you may have cards concentrated in one color. Okay, so for the bounce, characters that have effects when you replay them, Daisy Duck is pretty good here. Say you play her on 4, bounce her, and then replay her later. You can get another discard. That's okay. Mickey Mouse also does that, but with a challenge, giving your character challenge +2, not as strong. I think we're going to be on Daisy here. I think she's also just totally reasonable to play out on your turn 4. And I don't see anything else that really make me think otherwise. This Caterpillar's fine, but let's do let's take the cards that do something when you play them. Daisy Duck it is. Okay. Let's do it. All right, Mickey Mouse Trumpeter. Don't play this card in your deck unless you have a funny way to put something out early and big. So we're putting Goofy back in the deck, and we're going to get Trumpeter in our deck. This is not the most responsible pick, but it is the fun pick. So let's take Trumpeter. Okay, so there's a few characters that are fine. Okay, so Aladdin, for bouncing him and replaying him and draining them of their lore, that's kind of fun. But he's not that powerful. But let's see, play him on 3, bounce him with Elephant, replay him on 5. It's probably fine. Camilo Madrigal is a flexible card. Either quests for 2 or it gets Challenger +2. So it's either a 4/5 that quests for 1 or a 2/5 that quests for 2. These kind of flexible cards are kind of nice. Hydros is a 2/2 quest for 2 that can exert. We already have an exert effect. Let's take this Aladdin. Why not? Especially if we get like the Shift Aladdin. It's fine. Okay, well, I'm remiss to not play... I would be remiss not to play Tipo. I talk him up a lot. Just a good way to dump your hand in case we get, like, Clarabelle or Whole New World and gets us to our Mim Elephant early, in which case we could pick up Tipo and do it again. Kind of like that. All right, none of the others jumping out at me, so let's take Tipo. We have Ursula. We don't have Jafar. We're not going to see Jafar 7 because we left him back in pack 1, I think. I think the move is Rafiki here. Second star draws you 5 cards, but you really have to, like the only way that you can do this early is turn 3, 4, 5. Do it on turn 6. 1, 2, 3. I guess you could do it on turn 5 if you curve out your whole board and then tap everything or exert everything to play it. I don't think that's worth. Let's take Rafiki Mystical Fighter as just an early threat on board. All right, well, we're going to Windmill Slam Goat here. We were looking for one of the 4-cost Merlins, or maybe Merlin Crab as well. But this, I mean, we can bounce this with Snake. We can bounce it with Mim. We can bounce it with Mim 5. We can bounce it with Mim 7. This is the Oops All Bounces deck. We're going to take that and be super happy we see it. That's not something that happens without bots. Drafting with bots, you see a late goat. You're not going to see that if you're drafting against real people. Of these, I'm probably going to play none of them. Let's see, Revive. Probably not Revive. Let's take Eye of the Fates, put it in the board. Kita, I think, is a move here. We don't have any locations. And just having a 2/2 on turn 1 is fine. So let's take Kita. Not going to play either of these. We'll take On Your Feet in case we get more of this self-damage stuff. And then Raya, we're not going to play her. All right, last pack. Let's get a good one. Not a super good one, but that's all right. Do we have any enter the battlefield effects? No, is the answer. But we do have a 4/4 Quest for 2 evasive. This Don Carnage is probably the pick. Lumiere I like a lot. Jafar and Peter Pan as earlier evasives, but our 2s and 3s are looking okay. Let's take Don Carnage as just a top-end evasive quester. Okay, we have Dolores Madrigal to draw cards, which is always good. We have Doc to get us out up to our 5-cost characters early. We have 1 jump to get to our 4-cost characters a turn early. 1 jump into Trumpeteer into turn 4 Goofy Knight for a day. Is that the play? That might be the play. Let's see. What else are we missing? If we have a lot of 4s. Doc gets us to turn 5 a turn early. We can get the Queen out a turn earlier. Don Carnage. Let's take 1 jump. We can double sing it with Ursula, Deceiver of All, for some very powerful ink acceleration. Let's do it. Let's do the thing. Hiram, we only have medallion weights, right? So I don't think this is a Hiram deck. I'm going to put Avalanche on the board for now. I don't think we're doing the Queen Peddler thing here. Gothel? Might be Mother Gothel. When you play this character, you may pay 3. Okay, so she does have an on-play ability if you pay the extra. So you could play her early without the activated ability. Bounce her with Mim Snake or Mim Elephant, and then replay her with the activated ability. I think that's totally fine. We'll take Mother Gothel, a conceited manipulator, for a flexible character with an on-play ability. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, we have LeFou that readies characters when he's played. We have the Prince for a nice bodyguard. Rush Stitch. Pluto. Turn 3. See, if we had taken Pluto 7, then I think getting Pluto 1 here is totally good. But I think we're not quite going from 1 to 3 is not quite as powerful in this build than going from like 2 to 4. I think we have stuff we want to play on 4, right? We have this Ed, we have Mim Elephant, we have Goat, Mickey Mouse Trumpeter. Let's take the Prince here. I think we have things that we'd like to bodyguard against. I don't think this Morph is getting in. We don't have very many Floodborns at all. We'll assess at the end of the draft, but all right, we'll take the Prince. Is this good? This Hook. Challenger +3. Characters with cost 3 or less can't challenge this character. Can shift in on 3. Challenge for 5. That's it's pretty decent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 uninkables. And we may not play. Yeah, I mean, this Hook is probably okay with Morph. It'd be nice if we had one more Hook. I don't know that we're going to see another Captain Hook here, but it's probably fine. Don't think we need Aladdin. Judy Hopps, maybe decent to deal with items. But a Pirate Captain Villain, it's probably responsible to just take Judy Hopps as an item hate card. Yeah, we'll take Judy. Well, the better item hate card is in the next pack, so that's a bit of a bummer. But that's all right. You never know. You never know. Tinkerbell or Benja is just a better. We'd basically take Judy out, put Benja in. All right, Tinkerbell. How many other ways do we have to draw cards? We have the Queen at 5. We have Medallion Weights. Chernobog's Followers kind of turbos us through the deck. Yeah, okay, let's take Benja, and we're going to take Judy Hopps out. Bummer. Okay, we have Hood. Hood to damage characters so they can't challenge Ed. We have Tala to shift in with Morph, and then we have ways to get more ink in our inkwell with Tipo. Blue Fairy, we don't have very many Floodborns. And if we take Blue Fairy, we will only have 1. Or Hidden Cove, because Hidden Cove is just great. Let's take Robin Hood here. Okay, we have Spellbook. We have McDuck Manor. Is McDuck Manor any good? We can get it on turn 3 with either 1 jump or Tipo. Hard to deal with. Spellbook we can get out on turn 3. Can't ramp into this any earlier. Yeah, let's take McDuck Manor here. Inkable. Pretty good 2 to 4 ink curve here. We will take. I mean, none of these are probably making our deck. Don't have any 5-cost songs. So we can take Bayou. Put in the board for now. We're going to need to actually put some cards from our sideboard. Okay, nice. We'll take Doc. Here we'll... Queen. We didn't take LeFou. We have 2 4-questers that we could discard for Queen and gain 4 lore on turn 4. I mean, that's fine. We'll put her in the board. And then, okay, Pluto. Okay, so we need to actually add 2 cards from our sideboard into our main board. Interesting draft. Not how I thought it would go. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 uninkables right now. 10's okay. 10's not too bad. Eye of the Fates as a decent item. Dig a Little Deeper. Live the Dream with Dig a Little Deeper and Ursula Deceiver of All. It's another uninkable. Okay, what if we put, Dig a Little Deeper in, and then we put Eye of the Fates in. How does that look? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 uninkables. A decent curve. We have a few big top-end threats. Dig a little deeper to find what we need with the dream of like double singing. Dig a little deeper on turn 5. Or I guess turn 4 if you had like one cost. Huh. All right. Interesting deck. We have a lot of powerful Madam Mims. So this is going to be the Oops All Mims deck. And then some interesting ways to gain value off of playing and replaying things. Like we have some lore drain, we have item removal, we have, honestly, like Pete and Mim is an interesting combo. They can't play an action any turn. Like Pete on 3, pick up Pete on turn 4 with Mim Elephant, replay Pete on turn 5, and then pick him up with Snake on turn 5. Okay, I mean, this is an interesting deck. Medallion weights I love. Some powerful cards. Let's put it in Dreamborn, see how it looks. Okay, here's the deck. I think we stuck to an interesting plan. We took a bunch of bounce cards. We took 4 different Madam Mims, and we took some stuff that gains value off of either entering the battlefield or going back to your hand. So we have Snake, Elephant, Rival of Merlin, and Purple Dragon. And then we have things like Hey Hey, which sort of is just recursive, always available for you. Aladdin to drain some lore. We have Benja to pop some items. We have Daisy to discard some cards. We have Beast to do some ping damage. Honestly, like Hercules, if it doesn't die, bring it back and then slam it again. And then we have this funny Mickey Mouse Trumpeter Goofy Knight for a Day combo that is ambitious to say the least. But I want to see these cards together. Fun deck to draft. I kind of like once you find a lane, trying to make it work, even if it doesn't look like the most obvious path forward. So this was a fun one. Let me know what you would have done differently, and let me know if you enjoyed the video. I will see you all next time.